Have you ever experienced similar patterns or situations come up in your life or in your business that are things that you thought you worked on before and it comes back around and you're like, "Ugh, I already worked on this. I already worked through this. I already learned the lessons. Why is this showing up again?" It's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because you've identified with, again, an old story. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about how to actually transcend old programming, how to dissolve old programming, and some things that I've done on my journey that have helped me shatter the old stories and embody a new story, a new identity, and ultimately experience a new reality. But first, if you want support on your own journey, taking your life and business to the next level, overcoming old programming, and living as your most liberated, abundant, and impactful self, I would love to support you and have many ways that I can do that. All of that information is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. So I decided to talk about this topic because I recently did a beautiful ceremony, plant medicine ceremony, and it showed me a lot of really powerful things around our memory, what memory is, and how we actually can not only heal trauma or heal from the past, but declare who we are, shift our identity, and ultimately transform the present and the future. When really all there is now, but I'm just using these terms so that you can wrap your human mind around it. So the reason that we repeat patterns or situations or things reflect in our reality that are not what we say we desire is because we are identifying with the things that we don't want. So for example, say you are identifying with the you who it's always hard to attract more money, or you always have highs and lows with money, or that people don't value you, or whatever it is. And obviously you're not consciously identifying with that. But in the background, if that's going on, if they're still entertaining the story of that, then different things will reflect in your reality that match that. It might not be the exact thing, but it will be situations, people, circumstances that match what you are identifying with. So we change that through choosing who we are and how it is right now. But that's not always enough because our human is so used to the old program, the old story, but that's not actually who you are. So when you know who you are as pure consciousness streaming through a physical vessel, then it's easier to create separation between who you truly are and the story. Your identity is really just a collection of stories that you've told about yourself. It's the story of whatever your name is. And so in my case, the identity that I've identified with is the story that I tell of Stephanie, right? But you get to change that any moment. So going back to what inspired me to create this is what I learned and have experienced about memories and things that have happened. Because ultimately, if we keep telling the story of the past, we keep creating that. And this is happening below your conscious awareness until you begin to expand your awareness more. But when we recall memories, we're actually piecing together different information, right? We're piecing together visual imprints, we're piecing together emotional imprints, somatic imprints, things that have had high emotional charge, whether positive or negative, things that have been significant events, and sometimes even things that weren't significant, but our brain stores the information differently through visual things, emotions, somatic things, right? So when we remember or recall a memory, it's piecing together that information. But when we shift our perspective, when we release emotions, or when we choose something new, that's how we shift the memory. And the way that you look at what happened changes because you're no longer identifying with that. I'm going to break this down a little bit more so that you could wrap your head around it and think about how certain things are playing out in your life or in your business and how you can shift the past and dissolve past programming by simply shifting your perspective. There's a quote that I love that I forget who it's from, but it's something along the lines of, one little shift in perspective can change your entire life. Or a miracle is a shift in perspective. Something, maybe those are two different quotes, but it's true. Because when we can see something in a different way, then we're literally authoring our life in a new way. So say, for example, you are calling in your next level of abundance and clients and impact in your business. You have this big vision. You are super excited. You've been doing what you've been doing for a while, and you are ready for your next freaking level. And say you have had experiences in the past where you were promoting your stuff and not a lot of people signed up, or you put your heart and soul into what you're offering and you didn't get the feedback that you desired. You didn't get the results that you desired. Now, when that happened in the past, it probably brought up some emotions. You probably felt frustrated, defeated, maybe even hurt, because it probably was before that, way before that, that there's some kind of story line underneath that. For example, say that you made it mean, I'm not good enough, or what I have to offer must not be valuable enough. And so because that story is linked to that experience you had in the past and all those emotions of feeling frustrated or feeling like you did all these things and it wasn't working the way that you wanted, all that's bundled into that memory. And now when you go to show up boldly, powerfully, share your offers, that heaviness is lingering in the background below your awareness. And likely it happened way before that experience. It was probably, a story that you've been carrying for a long time of I'm not valuable or I'm not good enough or whatever it is, right? And so now when you go to take an action or do certain things, that heaviness is in the background. So how do we actually dissolve the old program? In my experience, and something I love to do with clients, is we get to the root of the story and we get the learnings from it, extract the learnings from it. This is something I do it's called quantum timeline journeying. I guide my clients through it to get to the root of the belief, the story, extract the lessons and apply them at the subconscious level so that it rewires your mindset. It completely rewires the way that you look at it, the way that you think about it, because it's not even going to bother you. And when you rewire the way that you see different things that happened, they have no power over you. It loses power over you. And instead, you can come in and reclaim that energy through the identity you are choosing to be in the now. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned this, but I'm currently offering one-on-one identity recalibration sessions. I call them quantum edge sessions. And we go and do the quantum timeline work on whatever's surfacing right now for you so that you can dissolve that and create immediate forward momentum in your life and in your business. Not only that, I offer clarity and direction based on what you're actually moving through right now. So if that's something that you're interested in, that information is in the description box as well. So going back to what I was saying, one way we do this is through quantum timeline work, shifting your perspective, getting the learnings, applying them at the subconscious level. Another way to dissolve old programming is to literally reclaim who you are in the now. And I've been talking about this more lately, the power of I am. I am is using your God power in the now, right? You're saying, this is who I am. I am the person who easily attracts money, clients, success. I am magnetic. I am always chosen. I am infinitely supported. I am always supplied for, whatever it is. And it doesn't always have to be I am statements, but what is the story that you are choosing to tell about yourself now? You've lived from this old story for so long because it was your programming. It was programmed in you from growing up, from your parents, from school, from the media, from society, whatever, from your DNA. It was programmed into you. And it was a story that you believed about yourself, your human self, right? But when you know the truth of I am, your God self, God within you, and you use that power, then you get to choose who you express as now. And so when something comes up that triggers you, like a memory, like how I just gave the example, if something comes up when you're sharing your work in a more powerful way, when you are raising your prices, whatever, if something comes up that is the voice of, oh, well, this didn't work in the past, or this is what happened in the past, so you better be careful, that's okay if that comes up. It's just a protection mechanism, really trying to keep you in the same story that you believed because that's who you were, right? But since you're no longer identifying with that story anymore, you can simply notice it and say, that is not who I am. This is who I am. This is how it is. And it could be as simple as that. You don't dissolve old programming by fighting it, by resisting it, by trying to change it and getting upset with it. That actually locks it into place as well. You dissolve old programming by interrupting it. If it happens, when it happens, interrupt it. That's not my story. That's not who I am. Or what's a different way that I could look at this situation? Or what is something that I need to learn from that happened in the past so that I can move forward differently now? And when you ask yourself those questions and you shift your perspective and you interrupt the pattern in the moment, that's when things will shift for you. But it does take conscious awareness. So you interrupt it in the moment. You choose a new story, a new assumption, a new identity, and you start embodying it immediately. So that thing from the past comes up. Oh, that's not how it is. This is who I am. This is how it is. Learn the lesson, get a perspective shift, whatever. Okay, now what action would I take from that vantage point? And you start embodying it immediately. You don't wait to embody something. You don't wait till fear is gone to take action either. You embody it immediately. And then your nervous system starts to learn your new baseline. Every now moment, You're selecting your identity. You're selecting your reality every now moment. The past has no power over you. The past is just a collection of stories as well. The past is what you made it mean about things that have happened to you or for you or in your life, right? Those are the meanings that you made those things. Those are the emotions you felt, but it's still just a story and now is all that exists. So instead of recreating the past, change the way that you look at whatever happened, change the story, choose in the now. You actually have the power to do that. So there was a time that I had a really profound experience where I was reliving a bunch of memories that were coming up for me in regards to relationships. It was just different flashes of relationships that I was in throughout my life, not just long-term relationships, but little flings, this and that. And I was noticing a pattern in those relationships, a pattern of me not feeling valued, not feeling important, not feeling celebrated. And I asked myself when I was having that experience, okay, well, what do I need to do to not repeat that pattern? What do I need to do differently? Or what do I need to do to let go of that? And the download came in that was just like, choose who you are now. That's not you. That's not who you are. I am always chosen. I am celebrated. I am loved. I am adored. This is who I am. And when I had that declaration come through in my mind, I repeated it over and over and over and started having a little emotional release of the old story leaving, the old identity leaving. I was crying, 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 letting it dissipate, letting it leave, declaring who I am. And that's exactly what we get to do in relation to everything that we desire. We declare who we are right now. And in the moment, if something comes up, declare it, feel it. Make it real in your mind, your energy, your body. Understand that you always have the power to choose. Every time that I've chosen differently and committed to that decision, things have shifted for me. When I had that experience and had that declaration, I started witnessing other people treating me differently, treating me with more attention, valuing me, whatever, just showing up in my life differently. When I first started my business and I was shy and scared to show up online, I made a choice that I have a powerful message. I have something important to say. The people who are meant to resonate with me will. And I am a confident person. Confidence comes from action. Action builds confidence. And I made different choices that helped me act and show up in alignment with those choices. And if I hadn't done that, I don't know where I would be. But it wasn't always easy. It wasn't always rainbows and butterflies. I definitely had to stretch myself. And that's the case for you too. When you're shifting your identity, when you're dissolving old programming, it's not always going to feel comfortable. It's not always going to feel easy because you have to remember you've believed certain things for your whole entire life. And when you're stretching and choosing something new that goes against the old thing, that it's going to feel different. It might bring things up, which is good because those things that come up are meant to be released. They're meant to be processed. They're meant to be shifted, right? So it's literally part of the process. So like if I waited until I was confident to show up, I don't even know if I would show up because confidence comes from action. Becoming more clear comes from action. Making more money comes from stretching yourself, showing up more boldly, owning your gifts, owning your genius unapologetically, making investments in yourself. It's going to stretch you. But on the other side of that stretch, that edge that you haven't leaped yet fully in certain areas, on the other side of that edge is more of your power, is more abundance, more clients, more opportunities, more fulfillment, more of your power. I don't know if I already said that, but more of your power is on the other side of that leap. So I want to leave you with this today. Just become more aware of what comes up for you in the moment as you are working towards your goals, as you are bringing your next level desires into your physical reality, and you notice something come up that's contradicting that. I just want you to notice it first, interrupt it. After you notice it, oh, that's interesting. That's when you notice it. Interrupt it. Actually, this is how it is. This is who I am. This is what I choose. Declare the new thing in the now, and then act from that version of yourself immediately. Maybe the immediate action is to make that post about your offer in a new way where you're like just sharing about it so unapologetically. You're claiming your space in a new way. Or maybe that one action is you take the leap and you invest in that coach or that program, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what the action is, but interrupt the pattern, declare the opposite, take the action. The interrupting it is you no longer identifying with the old story. That's you saying, oh, no, that's not who I am. This is who I am. So the declaring it is in the moment declaration of your identity authorship. And then the action is your embodiment of it. And the more you embody something, the more it becomes normal and natural, like your baseline. The more you take action in alignment with your next level. And like I said before, it might stretch you at first, it might feel uncomfortable at times, but the more you do it, the more embodied it becomes. And that's truly the key here. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to sit around and, wait until I have more clear before I do this thing. No, you decide who you are and the clarity comes. You decide who you are, the confidence is there. You decide who you are, it's all here for you right now because you say it is. So that is all I have for you today. Let me know if this spoke to you, if this resonated for you. I would love to hear, and I'll see you in the next one.